Hello, hello. All right, it looks like we're broadcasting. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be brainstorming. Today is the start of the Acerola Jam Zero, and I've decided that I will live stream as much of my process as possible. So, today we're going to start on brainstorming some ideas. So, this year, the jam theme is aberration, a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected, typically the one that is unwelcome. So, I'm going to start off by just jotting down some quick ideas, then I'll pick one out, work it around a bit, create a proper game, and then we're going to try to fill out this cute little game design document I made a template for earlier, and do some other organizational stuff, like setting up the Godot project in the GitHub repo. Right, so aberration. As you may have noticed, we're not exactly at the beginning of the jam. I took the liberties of showering and spending some time on thinking something up. So I've had a couple ideas. So my first idea was for like a survival horror type game where you're on a ship, there are aliens. Yeah. Something from another universe that doesn't play by your universe's laws, and you have to work around them. I also thought of a photography game with cryptids, a kind of game where you go around and try to take photographs of two-headed animals and Bigfoots and whatnot. Kind of like that idea, but I'm not sure how feasible it is to do in a 2-week game jam. That's something I have to remember about. And another idea I had was game where health and attacking works different. These are my top two ideas for that. Attacking costs health. Maybe you're some sort of aberrant entity yourself that doesn't play by the normal laws. Or possibly attacks don't directly damage enemies. Maybe it's just knockback. It could be a game where you have to focus more around knocking enemies off of ledges rather than directly harming them. That's an idea I really like. Now, what else could it be? Chromatic Aberration. Chromatic Aberration. He directly mentioned it in like the jam theme and says, hey, if you're gonna make your game around chromatic aberration, that's probably what everybody's gonna think of, but I don't know, just have to try anything. Like a puzzle game focused around rainbows or splitting colors. Maybe a type of a find the odd one out game. I was like, aberration is just anything differently. So maybe a maybe a platformer game where there are some aberrations that make physics act differently, like swapping the gravity, making you jump higher. That's actually a pretty good one. That's something... That's something I kind of like, actually. Now what else? Aberration. This is such a difficult theme, honestly. This one is like a pain to work through. What else could it be? An aberration. It makes me think of makes me think of like something Lovecraftian, something kind of messed up happening with the world. Something really scary. But what if they're not scary? It says typically one that is unwelcome, but what if it's like unwelcome? What if Lovecraftian gods, but they're like guests at a resort, and you have to... Like if you're a resort manager in the tropics or something, and like Cthulhu shows up. That's a departure from what is normal. It's unusual and unexpected, and he's probably going to be unwelcome. So, hold on. That's a really good one. That's one I like. I have no idea how I'd make that into a game, though. How on earth would that even work? I don't want to... Now I just can't stop thinking about that. Hotel for monsters or cryptids. It could like be basically Monster Prom meets a hotel keeper type game. That's one I like quite a bit, actually. Let's move on, try to find some other stuff. Hold on a second. There we go. Something big and bad, and you gotta feed it. Like, there's a lot you can do with Lovecraftian gods as aberration. Or there's also like D&D aberrations. Maybe a game where you play as a beholder. It's a little straightforward and boring. What else is there? What else is there? Back on to Chromatic Aberration, puzzle game about yeah, that's another good one. This is a hard fucking theme. I do not like this theme at all. Computer glitches. Those are aberrations. It's bits where the computer doesn't work right. You know, like a maybe you can be like a mechanic on some sort of Dishonored-ass contraption. It's like you're in there and you're searching for bits where the machine isn't working right. There are aberrations in the output, and you have to go in and figure out what's wrong. Maybe you have to, like, just document them with an old camera. Chromatic aberration, camera. Yeah. Alright. So, I don't know what else to do. Now this idea, it would be easy to make. I already know what I want to do with that. Alright, maybe for that... Oh, my voice today. So what if it's like a... an isometric platformer where you and enemies attack each other with attacks that just do knockback damage and no actual physical damage. Now, that isn't very much aberration. It's like different. It's unexpected. But making an isometric platformer does sound fun. Alright. I think I'm about ready to decide on the finalists. So like I want to have this one. This one. And where else is it? Oh yeah, here we go. Now for these two. I have the pro of I know how to make it already. For this one, I have no idea what I would even do mechanically wise, but I do really like the idea. But like, it's a game jam. Why this theme? Why this theme? I think I want to do this one, actually. It's an underdog theme, but I kind of like it, and I feel like I know a lot of ways it can go. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with that one for now. I'm going to work on the design document a bit and see where I go with it. Just going to make a copy real quick of the blank one so that just in case I don't like it. Platformer meets stalker anomalies. Yeah, alright. This seems like a pretty good idea for starting with. Inspiration. God. Yeah. I will spell it right. Player experience. I want to have a neat mechanic. I've been thinking of having a platformer with like a wall kick. Like it isn't a wall grab, it's just kicking off the wall. And I feel like that could be fun to work with. Right, it's always going to be a genre. Concept gameplay overview. Theme because the anomalous areas act as aberrations in the world, which alter the way the world, which alter physics. It's gonna have platformer physics. It's gonna have a wall kick. Platformer physics. Standard running, jumping, wall kick. Gravitational aberration zones. Zones in which gravity. Zones in which gravity is increased, lessened, or reversed. Now, it would be cool if you could have gravity going sideways, but I have no clue how the player would actually control in that kind of thing, so I think I'm going to stick with up and down. Now, perhaps an idea could be double jump zones. Zones in which the player can jump again. Maybe mobile platforms and anomalies can move along tracks. That could be interesting for level design. Spikes. Gotta have spikes in a platformer. You can't not have spikes in a platformer. All of this. Don't really know yet. Minimum viable product. Platform mechanics. I want to have the gravity altering zones and moving platforms. Definitely be in the game. We'll also have to have a system for changing levels. way to exit and complete levels as well. Spikes and level reset. Time allows, the game will... And let's shoot for 10 levels in the base game. Zones that are double jumping. And let's like max it out at 20 levels. I don't think any more than that is realistic. So controls can be left and right for movement, and then space for jump, and there shouldn't be any other controls needed. Games UI looks yada yada yada. Alright, let's map out what our releases are going to look like. So for V, .1, it's definitely going to have player movement. Level exit system, level reset system, and level transferring. Now, do we even need a level select? This is a game jam game. Maybe we could just like play the trick of now what's... Yeah. Okay. Another idea for a mechanic I had. That could be a fun mechanic. Like something you can bounce off in midair. I'm thinking of... I want this to be a Celeste type precision platformer, just with the anomalies as the mechanic. And I think we can do that. And then that might just make double jumping obsolete. I think that might be a more fun way to do it. So that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah. Level exit, level reset, level select, level transferring. So that means we're going to have to set up an app manager system, which is something I don't know what the rules for this jam are on using pre-made content libraries, because I have a couple like generic go-to scripts that honestly I think I'll just avoid using them. I don't think it'll be that big of an issue. Alright, let's put an estimated time scale on this. So we have 14 days for the game. I'm going to try to get it done I'm going to aim to have all of this I'm planning out and can think of right now done within 10 days, because that leaves time for the 4 days. That's the rest of the 90% of the game. As game jams tend to go. You can never give yourself too much time, and you can never scope too small. So, let's say I want to get this done within 2 days. So that's what? It's the 28th. Try to get that done by February 30th or sooner. And VO2, I want anomaly zones in. Some basic level layouts for testing. And probably a game progress saver. Even if it's a web game, we can use cookies for saving. That's fine. How many days are in February? Oh. The game's due on the 13th. There is no February 30th. Oh, it's going to be March 1st. Whoopsie daisy. So this bit, I don't see me taking too long either, so that should be to March 3rd. Say this, I want it. So for VO.3, that's going to be my first major art pass, I think. No, actually, by VO.3, I want moving platforms in. I want wall kick to be in at the start. I think that's going to be a pretty big part of the game. Moving platforms plus slash objects. Level reset. Moving platforms slash objects. That I can probably get done by March 4th. So for 0.4, I think that's going to be my first visual art pass. So I want player art. Basic environment tile set. Tile set should be a word. I can't believe it's not a word. Anomaly zone indicator art. This I can see taking a while. Let's see, from the 4th. Till like the 6th. Maybe it's the 7th. I want to get the first 10 levels done by this time. So I want to aim to have the first 10 levels in by March 8th. Should probably have the basic UI art in too. For V 0.6, I want sound effects in. Pass. And then some visual polish like particles and stuff. Maybe some decals. And on March 12th, I want to have the finalized levels. Game, and then for 1.1 and beyond, that can just be whatever. That's all I can really think of that we need. Oh, yeah, we still need a name. What should the game be named? Nomiformer. How does it not detect classic from classic with one S? Like, that's a one character difference. That's something you should be able to detect automatically. Whatever. You know what? We can come up with the name later in development. So let me move over to the Kanban board. We're doing all of these, but I did that and that. So next up, we're going to make the Godot project. So that's been pretty darn simple. Hold on, let me change this over to a display capture. Whoop, that's not working. Hold on. Oh, I really shouldn't be screwing around with OBS right now, but that's how it is. And voila. Hold on a minute. I have to browse through some files. Personal projects, game development active, Acerola jam. We can just call it Aberration Platformer to start with. Alright, starting the compat mode. And there we go. And we're up. Whoopee! Let's start and get the project structure. This is probably something I could have done beforehand. I didn't because I wanted to know the name of the game first, but like, I don't know the name of the game, so that's just how it is. Assets, scenes. Scene source, and then folder. Always gotta have a folder to put the icon.png. I always call it icon.png. It's icon.svg now. It's a vector graphic way. Oh, none of these are supposed to be capitalized. I'm sorry. It's just, you gotta have everything named right. Godot's file system is supposed to be snake case, and it will be snake case. There we go. Much better, much better. Let's create the main scene. And we can open up my wonderful VS Code. Yep, yep, hooray. Ugh. Hold on a second. Second editable. There we go. And now we have to reload VS Code. Come on. Don't care about that. So, fun pattern you can use in Godot. Boom. Now you can, like, there's only ever going to be the... There's only ever going to be this like approximates a singleton pattern. It's not really a singleton, but it's good for just creating a single entry point into your application in Godot, which is important. Scene, and then set as main scene. Perfect. We have time for the commit. The initial commit. After I finish setting up the git ignore. Hold on. Hold on. How does Godot not set up its own proper git ignore? But here we go. Initial commit. Here we go, ladies and ladies. Our initial commit. Woo. And Just publish to... It's going to be a public repo. There we go. Wonderful. We have version 0 online. Alright. Make a project and set up GitHub repo are done. So it's time to archive those. And set up the tasks for the timeline. Ugh. There we go. There we go. So that's the Kanban board for VO.1 setup. Honestly, that's where I think I'm going to call it for this stream. I might do some work off camera in the meantime, but that's about all I have time for tonight. So, I'd like to wish you all a very good night. Good luck if you're participating in the jam, and goodbye.